Hello, everybody. Welcome to a face-to-face talks Tamiya. What's all this about? I know, and people don't know what I look like. It's like the mystery is now broken. I've done all these 4 years on YouTube of no one really knowing what I look like, and now I've just blown it all
The
out.
faceless man has been
I know.
exposed.
Well, people are going to go, oh, he's actually real. He's not some sort of AI generated character that does these YouTube.
Well, maybe you are. Let's keep the suspense alive,
Maybe
man.
I am.
Meet Mop Mort. I am not AI.
So how you been, dude? We missed out on August because life just got in the way, didn't it? We were both really busy.
It did. Life got in the way. I've been down and out. I mentioned it to a bunch of guys. If you haven't heard, you guys know I've got a bad back. I try not to bring life downers into my channel. I try to just keep it on the positive. But I got a slip disc between my L4 and my L5. And that's what 2 years ago got me into YouTubing full time. So I can't work full time anymore. My body's a bit of a disaster. My spine's a disaster. And yeah, I broke my back when I was 12. I was in a car accident in 2018, and they wanted to do a 4-disc fusion in my neck. So I really I've lost all the movement in my neck. I suffer from like pretty insane head pains and stuff. And then this low back thing started acting up 2 years ago. That it popped out again a month ago, and it didn't go out all the way. The first time it popped out, it hit my sciatic nerve. That I'll tell you, if you've never had a disc pop out and hit a sciatic nerve and just sit there against the sciatic nerve, you haven't lived yet. It is the wildest pain you will ever experience in your life. So yeah, we did all the things, we got it back in place, and then it kind of popped out again. Not as far out as last time, but to the point where I could barely walk. I can't even think. So it's been a very non-productive month, but saw the doctors, got the CT scan, got a shot right in the nerve. Woo! If you ever have one of those shots in the nerve, I'll tell you, that'll wake you up. Steroid shot, and here we are, back up and moving. Thanks for being patient with me.
Good.
How's your August been?
It's been hot. It's been hot here in the UK. Lots of sunshine, lots of time to spend with the family and get out in the sunshine. So I can't complain. But we're heading now into the autumn. The leaves are starting to fall here in the UK. The rain turned up this week for the first time in 2.5 months. And yeah, the garden's starting to grow. All the weeds have suddenly come up out of nowhere. So the Orchard Raceway is done for the season, I think, at this point. But hey, it's
Oh
life.
no,
It's
bummer.
life. Yeah. We'll have to start boating like Glenn at Riviera RC. Just take up some boating, I think. So
Not a bad plan.
we got a full calendar today. We've got lots to get through. Okay.
There's a lot here, Craig.
I thought we'd
There's a lot
start
here.
start off with the little bit of Tamiya news that we've got, and we do have some Tamiya news this month. Well, roll over from last month, but we're going to cover it off this month. So, the new release that everyone's just receiving, I think, I don't know if it's made it over to North America yet, but over here, the Mini Cooper racing on the MB01 is in stores, and it found its way to people last weekend. I know there's been some very excited people who've got their kits and they're planning their builds and their custom minis and that sort of stuff. Has it made it over to Canada yet? Have you seen the mini yet in the stores?
I'm pretty sure it has. Yeah, I think I've seen some Canadian guys showing them on the Poor Boys RC Facebook group, and I haven't checked the hobby stores myself, to be honest. I think we all know how I feel about that chassis,
Yeah.
so I'm not exactly keeping a keen eye out for it. I'd rather just never see it again, to be totally honest. But I'm pretty sure it's out here now.
I'm surprised Tammy's coordinated a worldwide release on this one because everyone seemed to get it at the same sort of time.
I wish I knew what their rhyme or reason is to their releases, because sometimes the UK will get a new release before the USA or Canada, or then Australia will get it, or then Canada will get it first, USA will get it first. I wish I was a fly on the wall sometimes to know kind of what that release methodology is all about.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either. I can only assume that if they build enough quantity to do a global release, they ship it out and then they push it all out at the same time to all the stores from the distributors. But if they can't make enough of them, then they have to stagger it and do it a bit at a time. I wonder whether I don't know, because I wasn't really into the hobby before the pandemic, so I don't know what it was like before all the supply chains got disrupted and everything else, and whether this is just back to normal now and it used to be global releases, or whether it's suffered from the pandemic and now it's getting back to I don't know. But a global release, which is always nice to see. Everyone gets their nice shiny new Tamiya at the same time, which is good.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah.
they also dropped on us that they're doing another nice shiny new Tamiya coming later in the year, which was a bit of a surprise. I never thought we'd see this chassis being done again, and that is the DB01. and they've got this DB01 SR chassis coming. Now, I did a video on this, Phil, when it was first announced, and I sort of went through I've got a DB01 that's all boxed up, ready to go with all the hop ups and stuff. I'm a bit gutted because a lot of the stuff I've found and hunted down over the last 3 years have popped up on this release of the kit. So it's one of those, isn't it? You know, you wait long enough and it comes back again. But it's quite a nice little kit. They've got universal front and rears, hexes on the front and the rear because it didn't have hexes. It had like a pin on the back wheels and then a shallow hex on the front. They've sorted that out, changed that out. It's got hex hardware from what I can see throughout, and reinforced drive shafts, and a slipper clutch, which is unusual for Tamiya because they don't normally put slipper clutches in their kits. So it's pretty well loaded. Comes with a body shell, the Boldra body, but doesn't come with the decals. But I think it does come with some special stickers, it says. So I'd imagine that'll be something that just says DB01SR, a bit like they did with the TTO2B specials. And that'll be that. But I mean, that's quite a lot. Oh, it also comes with gear differentials and steel bevel gears as well from the TA06. So there's no ball diff in there, which I've had a problem with my ball diff. I've got to rebuild my DB01 because the ball diff's come undone already. I think that's an awful lot of kit. However, in Japan, it was announced at 44,000 yen, which I've converted to be somewhere in the region of 350 to 400 sterling, which I think's a lot of money for a Tamiya kit.
That's hefty. Because that'll convert to what, about 750 Canadian, which is roughly 750 Australian, which is about, I don't know, in US off the top of my head, maybe 350 or something. US would it be?
Might be a bit more than that. Might be about 500.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. I converted it the wrong way, probably about 500. So that's expensive, if you ask me. It seems to be that way with all of Tamiya's kits that come out with the hop ups. You know, as soon as you start getting some a slipper clutch and some universals, I don't know. It just seems like the price just goes up.
Yeah, and I think it's a
astronomical.
premium kit. So they did the SR on the TTO2B. They did a TTO2. Oh, it was a BR, wasn't it? Not an S. It was a BR. And that was
BR,
a kit that had a whole load of blue stuff and a whole load of hop ups in, and that was
yeah.
expensive. I think it was £300 here in the UK for that chassis, and this one's going to be way better than that.
It's an awesome chassis. I mean, I'm fortunate. I'm lucky enough to own a DB01, and I love it. I had the chance to run it on carpet this year, which like it performed really well. It's kind of heavy. It didn't perform as well as obviously like the associated top of the line race buggies. It's not that, but it did hold its own on the track. And if I were to tune it up a little bit, put some proper tires on it, the whole nine, like it's a fun vehicle to take on an indoor carpet track.
Yeah, I like mine. I drove it on the Ultra Raceway last season, and it went so well. In fact, it almost beat the Top Force. The Top Force got it in the end, but it
was the number 2 car last year, wasn't it?
So nice to drive, just so nice. And the belt is so smooth. I mean, it hardly makes any sound when it's running. It's just this beautiful whine of the belt going around, and I think it drives really nice. The only thing that I worry about is I've always worried about spare parts. If I break it, it's going to be expensive to pick the parts up. But that's what I like about this, is that there'll be a whole raft of spares now available for that chassis again.
That would be good. They were not giving away, but I mean, not literally, but figuratively, giving them away on eBay a little while ago. I picked mine up, I think, for like, I want to say some crazy price, 250 Canadian or something like that. There was a store in Japan that was selling them on eBay. I want to say 255 Canadian with free shipping several years ago. And that's what I paid for mine. It's not an SR,
no,
but just for the standard DB01. And in my opinion, that was an absolutely phenomenal price. No slipper clutch, no fancy blue bits, but it did come with a body.
Yeah.
I think it came with a 540, just like a standard silver can. I don't think it came with an ESC, but you're going to want to put some kind of more race spec stuff in there anyway. And for that price, you could buy two and have all your spare parts. And
I did exactly that.
Use it as race
£160 I paid for mine, so that's about the same sort of price. And I just went, do you know what?
Yeah.
I'm getting two of these because I might never see them again.
That's right. Yeah.
Built one, and I've got the one in the box with all the parts against it. But I don't know, man. I love that they brought this back. And if I didn't have another one, I probably would have bought one. But there's not enough in there for me to dip in, especially when it's going to be, I think between £350 and £400. Now, we'll see. We'll see if Tamiya do a deal or there's some sort of saving grace, but I don't see it. Not when they price that TTO2 at over 300. I can't see this being any less than 350 in the UK.
I wonder if this means we might see a Zahak return.
That's what I want. A DN01.
That would be something.
I want. So a whole bunch of parts popped up for the DN01. Some arms. I think the slipper clutch came back into stock. There was a wave of parts that came back in one of the Japanese model shops. And those things have been out for so long. And all of a sudden they came back around the same time that the DB01 parts came back in. So who knows? Maybe we see a DN01 SR in the new year, perhaps. Now that is something that I would pick up. I'd be all over that.
That would be exciting. Yeah, I would probably invest in that one. Yeah.
But here's the thing with this one. This is what I've been sort of thinking about. You've got the Dirt Cross, which I know you like. That's the Kyosho 4-wheel drive one, right? Genova have just released is it Genova or G-Force? G-Force have just released a new 4-wheel drive buggy out in Japan, and I can't remember the name of it, and I wish I could. Kai City RC's just built one and run it, and it looks really, really nice. I wonder whether this has been pitched against those in Japan to enter into those sort of vintage retro feel, because the Dirt Cross was based on I want to say the Laser, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
So I wonder whether that's why Tamiya are revisiting these to try and put something into the market that can go into those sort of meets. But the price of this will be significantly more in the UK than the Dirt Cross is.
Is that right?
Yeah, Dirt Cross is £250 sterling. So this will be £100 more.
Yeah, that's a bummer. Dirt Cross is a good car too.
Yeah, well,
it's a really good car. I can't say enough good things about it. I think the Dirt Cross and its 2-wheel drive cousin there, the Dirt Master. I think people are really missing out by not buying those two cars because they are fantastic.
See, I feel bad because I had a Dirt Master and I sold it. I didn't build it because I heard lots of people complaining about the number of plastic shims in it and all that stuff. And I just went, I don't know if I'm in the mood for it. And now I'm having buyer's remorse. I wish I'd kept it. I wish I'd built it and run it.
They're great. Yeah, I ended up with two. I ended up with the Dirt Cross and the Dirt Cross. Sorry, which one's? I always get the two mixed up.
You got the Dirt Master and the Dune Master, wasn't it?
And the Dune Master. That's right. You read my mind. Thank you.
I got you.
I kept the Dune Master, as you know, and because I had to keep one of them, I raffled off the Dirt Master. But they're fantastic. They're great. And, there are some shims, kind of finicky, bit of a build when you're putting your C-hubs. There's these little shims you got to put on everywhere. Seems a little unusual that they added so many shims. I really don't know why they did that, but maybe just for minor adjustments, if I don't know. I'm not a race guy. I don't really get too worried about shims and stuff like that. I just put it together, put it on the track and let it go and have fun. So, it's a small, if people are complaining about that, I wouldn't say that the shims are a factor to deter you from purchasing the kit. I think it's part of the build process on that particular one, and it is what it is.
I have to put it back on the list, don't I?
I think you do. I think you might be surprised.
Maybe one for the new year after Christmas. I've got a few things to tell you in the build queue as we get later on the podcast.
Right on.
So that's the DB01 SR. Let's see how that gets on. That's all I've got from Tamiya for Tamiya News at the minute. There's a few other bits and pieces coming out. I think they're doing a few body showers, pre-painted body showers for a couple of cars, but I'll be honest, I didn't write them all down. I apologize to the Tamiya fans out there. I got too excited by some of the other stuff on the list. Now, normally, after we've done our Tamiya, we go with the hero car, but that would normally be your choice this month, my friend, but I'm not going to allow you to pick one for two reasons.
What?
Yeah, well, just hear me out. I got very excited because I've got a new RC on the way that I picked up on eBay, and it's a TA02T, the short truck.
That's an old but a goodie.
Chevy S10 with all the decals, the body set, all the parts. The only thing that's missing is the tires and the wheels. And I can get hold of those because they're the same ones that were on the Pajero CW01 release earlier in the year. So I can get the parts to complete this kit. And I've wanted one of these for so long. I've wanted a short truck Tamiya because I love the look of them. I think they look great. And there's been loads of them over the
So good.
years, but you just can't get any now. Just non-existent. So I'm really pleased. But it got me thinking, Phil, should Tamiya re-release the TA02? Because all the parts are available for it. They still have a variant of it in the market. They've got the Lancia 037, the hard shell Lancia. And I think they could put it back out if they wanted to. And it's similar to the DB01. I think people would welcome something different than a TT02.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, everything 80s and 90s is white hot right now. And those cars were extremely popular in the mid 90s. That kind of mini pickup truck
Mm,
stadium racing thing that was going on, very, very popular. Um, and like with so many overlapping parts too, I would think from like the molding process, from the manufacturing process, it's got to be relatively less expensive to re-release kits when you're thinking like the differential is the same differential that you can use in a few different cars. I think the DB01 we just talked
yeah,
about, it's available. It'll work in that. I think that's what I also have in my BBX. The gear diff will work in the
yeah.
BBX. Um, so mishmash of parts that are used in different kits. It would be nice to see it come back, man. It really would. Those are fun cars.
And I still think they're making them because they're still putting that Lancia out into the marketplace. So I just wonder because they used to put a lot of the road chassis on the TAO1 originally, and then they put them on the TAO2 before they moved on to the TL01, I think it was, and that had a very short window, and then the TTO1 came out. But that TTO2 was so popular back in the day, and it's such a good chassis. And everyone tells me that it's just bulletproof. It just keeps on running. It's great to drive. I've not driven the TAO2, but I've driven the Top Force, and it's such a beautiful chassis. It's so easy to drive. It's so forgiving. I really think with everything else that's coming back round again, Tamiya should just put that back out into the market, let people have it, put something different on the body shells on a different chassis. It's not just constant TTO2s. And I know it must be cheap for them to push those things out, but I am absolutely done with the TTO2 chassis.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. When do you know when the TTO2 came out?
I don't off the top of my head. It's got to be, you're going to look it up?
I'm gonna Google it right now.
It's got
Yeah,
to
because
be,
it's been out.
I want to say 15 years old, but it could be
It's been a long
older
time.
than that. It could be
Uh,
older than that.
looks like Tamiya base says release date May 22nd, 2013. So 15 years. That's a good run.
That's not bad, is it? That's not bad.
2013.
So
Yeah,
it's got to be
that's
due.
crazy.
It's got to be due a replacement. The only thing that would change my mind on a re-release of the TAO2 would be if they were actually legitimately going to do a TTO3.
Yes, which would be. I mean, it would. They're very different chassis, aren't they? So the TTO1 and 2 are very similar. If they were to come out with the TTO3, I would think it would be very much along those same lines
Mm,
of, four-wheel drive kind of supercar sort of idea. Whereas the TAs is a
yeah,
TA, right? That you were talking about. Yeah, that was just like I don't own one, so I'm just trying to envision it in my head. I remember like the red plastics, if I'm not mistaken,
it had a
and almost
truck.
like
So if you think of your Top Force Evo or your Top Force, it is just like that, but with shorter arms and shorter damper stays.
okay. Okay. I'm thinking of something else on top of my head then. I'm envisioning this red chassis, almost like a modular kind of, almost like an MF01X, kind of multiple sort of different sections. But
You'll you'll
I'm
think
going in some old files in the old data
the
bank here.
TL01 was like the MF01X. So it was like the gearbox was multiple pieces in the middle. The drive shaft was in the middle of these two parts sandwiched together. And then you could see the spurs either side and the counter gears spinning loosely. And they had these little bits that you put over to cover them up. That was
Okay. Okay. So I'm just getting mistaken.
the TL01. Yeah. But I mean, Tamiya's got to be ready for refreshing that TTO02. Got to be ready for that. But I was wondering whether that's what they did with is it the BTO1 that they did? So they did the
Yeah.
MDO1, and they had that other one that you got, and you tried to run it front wheel drive and rear wheel drive, but that wasn't 4-wheel drive, was
Yeah.
it? That chassis?
No, there's the MB-01 and the MB-01 was a short
Yeah.
wheelbase, and then the BT-01 was a 12 or a 10 scale, like a longer
Was that
wheelbase.
4-wheel drive, or
And they were both
was it just two?
two-wheel drive.
Okay.
Out of the box. You could get creative and make them four-wheel drive, but they just came two-wheel.
Wasn't worth it though, was it?
I couldn't stand the bloody thing. I couldn't drive it straight. It's hard enough to film and drive all, I mean, there's only so many things a guy can do. And you can't even drive the car straight. It's just like, what am I doing with my life? Throw in the towel.
Absolutely.
It looked good, and it was a really cool design. And what, that the BT-01, the MB-01, they're virtually the same chassis. One's just smaller than the other. The MB's just smaller. And from a design, from an engineering standpoint, it's absolutely phenomenal. They killed it. How they, in my review videos, I think I said everything's just two screws. The gearbox, two screws. It's so quick to make the changes from rear motor, or like is a rear wheel drive rear motor. I forget the three variants. You had rear wheel drive rear motor, front wheel drive rear motor, or front wheel drive front motor, and then rear wheel drive front motor. I don't know, something like that. Something like that. Regardless, they made it really easy to switch things around. So it was an impressive design from that point, but just the driving experience, in my opinion, stunk. Tommy did a great job with his, where he shimmed the heck out of it, and he got to drive it on a track actually pretty decently. A few other guys have done that, but I don't know. My motto is I stick to it. It's got to work out of the box. That's what I always say. It's just got to work out of the box. And that thing, if you need to put 2 bags of shims in it to make it work, it should come with 2 bags of shims and some directions to say, hey, shim the heck out of this thing so it drives straight.
But with the TA02, I believe, certainly with my Top Force experience of that similar chassis, it just worked out the box. I put it together, stuck the radio gear in and the motor, and it just drove brilliantly straight out of the box. And my expectations of this TA02T is it will do exactly the same. I will put that together, I'll follow the instructions, and it will just be awesome. And if Tamiya can get back to that, where you just take a nice simple kit, inexpensive, I believe they were quite cheap back in the day, you bang it together, you go out, you have fun, and it just does what you want it to do out of the tin. Yeah, TA02. Come on, Tamiya, give us a few more chassis, TA02 chassis, let's do it. Or give us a TTO3 that is nice, really nice, and drive straight. Not like I remember that speedrun challenge you got me doing with the TTO2, and oh man, that thing would just not go in a straight line.
Well, and the irony there was that its predecessor, the TTO1, drove more reliably straight than the TTO2 did. So, it was just kind of this thing where you're almost better off using the older style design, because it did definitely track a lot straighter.
I haven't tried a TTO1. Maybe that's a future purchase, because you can still get those, of course. There's still chassis or still models that run that chassis.
And they're fantastic. The only thing you might, I had to kind of, it's designed to run on like a 6-cell NIM pack. So the chassis has the slits. So the cells kind of sit recessed a little bit, really nice and low. And then they've got these little gussets on the side of the chassis to the bottom, where if you try to run a lipo, those gussets get in the way and you have to cut them out. Just a little bit of trim work, really, really quite minor. And then you drop a nice 2 or 3S lipo in there and let that thing rip.
Nice. Another one to add to the list for me, hey?
That's right.
So, talking about adding things to the list, there is a whole bunch of other RC cars that have been announced in the last, 4 or 5 weeks since we last spoke. And believe it or not, there are some more RC10s. Can you believe it?
RC10s?
They found some more to do.
Say what?
The Las Vegas edition race kit has been announced in the last month and a bit, which is an homage to vintage racers and fans. The RC10 Las Vegas edition race kit features hand-selected items to assemble the ultimate vintage two-wheel drive buggy. Black plastics, stealth transmission, that's pretty cool. Metallic gold chassis, nose plate and motor plate. Metallic gold shock bodies. There's a lot of bling going on this, isn't there? Black WC front and rear shock towers. Black plastic bleeder shock caps. I mean, they're really going to town. They've got the 89 Stealth rear tires on it. Some new Vegas decals. But, yeah, it's just another RC10. in a different color scheme with some different decals.
That's about it. And I don't know. I'm just googling it right now, just kind of refresh my memory. And it's like I said, it's an RC10 with some black parts. Stealth transmission, which is pretty cool. But I mean, listen, there's a million people out there that are going to buy this, and the RC10 is an iconic buggy. I mean, it really helped put RC racing on the map. Really legitimized RC racing back in the day. Took it from kind of backyards and sort of small private tracks into the mainstream. So this buggy deserves a ton of respect. Looking at this, I mean, personally, I'm not interested in it. I've got a few RC10s. I've got some more coming, but this one
Well, you've
is,
got
it's
your
not for me.
Masami coming, haven't you?
I got a Masami coming, and I will have to get a Kinwald at some point.
Yeah.
Somewhere, somehow, I'll find there is availability out there, but I've only got so many poor boys tokens to spend on RC, so I've got to, I got to. And they're not cheap. I mean, they're about $600
Yeah,
Canadian.
absolutely.
By the time your taxes and everything in, you're $600. So that is a lot of money for something that I'm not going to drive all the time, just put on a shelf and just kind of stare at. So I've got to kind of pick and choose those.
With ones like this one, though, Phil, do you feel that what Team Associated are now doing is they are appealing to people that want an RC10 that's slightly different? Because these weren't models from back in the day. Now they're actually, this is an RC10 that is reimagined for the modern market, isn't it?
Yeah, and they've got the big. I mean, this is a brilliant release if you ask me, because they've got the big race happening in Vegas as well.
Yeah,
Masami's going to be there. There's a bunch of legends that are going to be there, and I don't know what the date of that is, but talk about a great time to have a branded RC10 that matches the event, that's celebrating this iconic kit. I mean, they're just going to be selling like hotcakes down there.
yeah.
So good on them for doing it. And whoever buys it, I mean, it's an RC10. You're going to love
The
it.
bit
It's great.
that I liked about this release, though, is it followed up the news straight after that they're selling the stealth transmission separately. So you can now just buy the stealth transmission. For all those people who bought RC10s right at the start of this Riri journey, can now go, hey, I can go out and buy a stealth transmission now and bolt it into my existing Riri RC10 that I got 18 months ago, and I can hop that up and bring that up to something that's a bit more modern.
And I've seen Associated mentioning on their social media posts saying that they're planning on inventorying a ton of replacement
Well,
parts.
that's good.
So even for the 4-wheel drive, saying that run it, like we designed these things for you guys to run them, go out, run them, break them. We've got replacement parts for you. So hopefully that's true. I haven't. Again, I'm kind of collecting mine as more shelfers, so I'm not going to be leaning on spare parts. But hopefully the guys that are racing these are able to get parts.
I hope that's true, because the whole point of these things is you want to get them out on a track and rip them about, and what happens when you put things on a track is stuff breaks.
You're going to break. And it is cool. I've seen some guys racing these against modern buggies. And, you and I are roughly the same age, and we grew up watching these. And it's just so neat to see a vintage buggy that can really still hold its own with a good driver. You can hold your own on a modern day
Absolutely.
racetrack with some modern day cars. And it's really nice to see that happen. So having somebody of these back out there, it's pretty cool if you ask me. And as long as the part support is there today and it sticks around for several years, I really hope they meet that commitment of having the replacement parts available, because I mean, obviously it's like every 2 months I think there's a new RC10
It's every month.
variant
Every month.
coming out every month.
Yeah, pretty much. There's something.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, like there's a lot, So no doubt they're cashing in on the nostalgia cash cow. All the more power to them.
Oh,
I mean, now's the time to do it. Make hay while the sun shines, baby. I'm into it.
exactly what I was about to say. But make sure you got the parts to back it up. So if anything happens, people can get spares. I think that's great. And maybe one day I'll see an RC10 on the Orchard Raceway. But there's plenty to pick from now. I can't. There's no excuse for me not being able to pick one up other than they are rather expensive.
That's it. Yeah.
So something else I spotted when I was sort of cruising around the various news sites this week or last week was this 1/7 Limitless Armor 8S ready to run brushless street speed thing. Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen it. I like it.
I mean, it's not the sort of thing that I would normally go for, but I think it looks awesome.
It looks awesome. I'm interested in it because the 120 out of the box claims are accurate from the reviews that I've watched. And I love Arma. I love Arma. That's my sort of the brand. It's kind of my go-to brand when I'm branching away from Tamiyas and Kyoshos. Arma is my go-to brand for that. And knock on wood, I have done some really silly things with my Armas, and to date, I've never had to replace a part. Like I abuse these cars. I don't treat them well, and they just keep on working. And so I'm a huge fan, and I can definitely stand for their toughness. I love the looks. I think the value is absolutely unreal with a lot of these Arma cars. And even that Limitless, I think they're about $800, $900 in that ballpark, which is not cheap. But for what you're getting, 120 mile 1.7 car RTR, and we were just talking about RC10s that are about
Yeah,
$600, and that's just a 10 scale 2-wheel drive buggy where you have to add all your electronics. Um, everything else, this thing's ready to run. This Limitless is ready to run for only a few $100
that's
more.
amazing.
So the bang for the buck is there, and the performance is absolutely insane. I've seen some people kind of humming and hawing about it because it's not, there's already a Limitless, and now there's just this new version of it that can go faster. It's not much different than the original. Take with that what you will. I mean, you have to. If you ask me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Absolutely.
So if it's already working and you just wanted to make it go a little bit faster, that's a fresh new product you can release to the market.
So with a product like that, Phil, it's ready to run apart from the battery. Then, so you get a servo in there, you get your ESC, a brushless system of some sort going in there as well. It's all, and you get transmitter, receiver. It's all just ready to go apart from a battery.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow. And they're recommending a 6 to 8S on that.
Yeah, I think it's 8S if you want to achieve the top speed. And then I watched a review on it, and they've got it comes with a center diff, but then if you want to unlock the 120 miles per hour, I think with the stock center diff in, you can do up to about 100 miles per hour. And then if you want to unlock the 120, you put in the center spool, which has a much different ratio, and that's where you get your extra 20 miles per hour. Larger pinion, smaller spool, so you got no more diff action, 50-50 power to the front and the rear, and that's your go button for 120.
That is unreal. That's ridiculous, isn't it?
But then the question is, like, where do you drive it? I mean, I would love to get one of those, and I was thinking to myself, like, if I get it, of course I'm going to try and test that 120. I don't know where to drive it, and Arma's not review, their release video on it, they did a good job where they said, like, this isn't really built for city streets, and they filmed it out at the looks like the Bonneville Salt Flat.
Yes, I saw that.
And and that's a perfect spot for it, where you're not gonna hit a parked car or a pedestrian. You hit a pedestrian 100 miles per hour, like there's gonna be some broken bones,
Absolutely.
dude. It's gonna be bad news.
Absolutely. Or someone's car, if you crash into a tire at that speed, you're going to do some damage.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that a
Traxxas
shout
did
out
that
to
video
someone for next season on the Poor Boy Speedrun Challenge to get out to the Salt Flats and rip a speedrun entry down there for the Poor Boy Speedrun Challenge?
Yeah, right. That would be amazing to see, actually.
Well,
Talk about the best spot. You can just pin it and just let it go.
that'd be a cool video, wouldn't it? Yeah, kicking up all the
Oh,
salt. So let's let's talk about that for a minute. Let's talk about the speedrun challenge, because that's a month finished now. It's all over, all said and done. What a
it's never over. I opened my trunk the other day, and there's like my wife's speed run car, radio, and like crap everywhere, and I'm just like, oh, this thing is like, yeah, the speed run hangover lasts at least 2 months. Still just trying to get prizes organized. There's some issues with Hobby King with their the batteries. The winners won the Hobby King batteries and the gift cards. They moved their U.S. warehouse from state A to state B, and now they can't ship to Canada and they can't ship to certain other countries. So, people aren't getting some prizes, but they will get them. It's just taking time and little hiccups like that. So
you're into the admin phase of it.
Oh yeah, it's like 6 months of admin before and 2 months after.
But what
admin heavy.
What an incredible season that you had this year. I mean, over 100 entries into the run this year, and some crazy speeds. I remember seeing just some ridiculous things. 380 motors going 50-60 mile an hour, and just bonkers.
Right? 132 contestants, 12 countries. people doing over 100 miles per hour in highly modified, mind you, Hornets. But Diamond Dave, I think, what did he do? 78 miles per hour, something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but his Hornet was basically stock, and he was screaming like it's crazy. And Andy Hall, he had the 380 motor, 380 brushless, and he did what, 71 miles per hour, I want to say, on still a very stock Hornet.
That's silly stuff.
It was a crazy year. It was such a fun year. This year was a really fun year, and I really wanted. I think with the TT02 and the MF01X having the four-wheel drive kind of wheelbase, four-wheel drive kind of rally cars and whatever, however you want to, I mean, there are rally chassis or bodies on the TT02 as well. I think going back to two-wheel drive and a vintage chassis just brought this fun element out of it that I really wanted to kind of rekindle. And to think that 132 people worldwide can all play in the RC sandbox together so well like that and just have a great time, man, it was in my opinion, it was my favorite speed run yet.
Good. I'm pleased that it was that successful, and I know a lot of people felt like that as well, Phil. In fact, quite a few of them post the speedrun challenge contacted me and said they wanted to do something. They wanted to do a little whip round for you and for Mrs. Poor Boys to go and have a meal out together, because you put an awful lot of energy and time into that over the course of the 2 months that you do it. So we did a GoFundMe, and we had we had some donations on a GoFundMe page for you. And
shut up now! You guys are crazy.
And I had some other people send me money through PayPal directly, and we raised £220, which I think is just over 400 Canadian dollars.
What?
Yep. So when we finish today recording, I'm going to send you that money, and you guys can do what you want with it. The idea was that you'd take the missus out for a meal, slap up dinner somewhere nice. But I also got some suggestions for you as to what you could do with the money.
Oh,
so someone said you could.
Thank you, guys.
Now I don't know what this one means, Phil. So you're going to have to help me translate. Someone said you could buy 2 bowls of poutine and a case of Molson and spend the rest of it on cars. Now, does that mean something to you? Or didn't mean anything to me.
That's like Canadian delicacies right there. You never had poutine?
No, I don't even know what it is.
Oh, dude, it's thick cut French fries with cheese curds and gravy on top. It's a Montreal treat. It is like, and it will melt your brain, dude. It's so good. And sometimes you put bacon on there. You get kind of crazy with it, get fun and flirty with it. But yeah, poutine's great. It's a Canadian thing, and Molson's like our Canadian beer. Molson Canadian, it's our beer. Yeah.
So there you go. You could buy that and then buy yourself an RC car. You see, the missus is a cheap date, and then you get yourself a new RC car. Someone reckoned you could buy another Camry, probably with that amount of money. You could buy a beat up Camry.
Yeah, I bought my last one for about $1,000, so you're not too far off.
You see, you've invested maybe, and someone said that you should get on the black market and get some Tamiya spray cans.
I'm actually doing that right now. Great idea. It's actually in process. I'm not going to name names, but a fellow Poor Boys RC crew member sent some cans over via air, and they did get sent back, and now they're on a boat. That's all I can say. And our fingers are crossed. So great tip, but we're already doing that. We're doing what we can to smuggle spray paint into Canada.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, you can put some of your poor boy chips towards that. That's right. Someone said about getting another Hornet body and doing a proper 80s style black and pink turquoise graphics, just like your intro. Maybe get Guru's World to do it for you. And on the wing, it just says, "Be excellent."
Ooh.
It's a nice idea.
That's a nice idea. And Greg, Guru's World, he'd do it too, and he'd do a bang up job.
Absolutely.
That's a heck of an idea.
So that's a good idea.
That might be cool for a commemorative SRC car.
There you go. What a great way to spend. You got to take the missus out first. That's the whole point of this. So we started. So it's only if you've got any money left over, okay? Someone said to get a custom T-shirt made that says, "I hosted the speed run, so you didn't have to."
That's amazing.
And then we had one more custom shirt that said, "Drive fast, crash big, and be excellent."
Oh, that's so cool. These are great ideas, guys.
So there you go,
I get
buddy.
it.
That's just a little thank you from the community. There's a whole bunch of people that contributed. I've got all the names written down, so I'll
Wow.
tell you who contributed when I send you the money over. I'll let you know who did, and you can write it to people and thank them. But yeah, it was a
Awesome.
whip round,
Yeah, if
and
you do
the
that,
whole the
then
whole idea came from one of the guys out in Australia, and I'll send you the guy's note because I haven't got it to hand at the minute. And he just said, "Look, he felt that we should do something for you," and I thought it was a great idea, but we wanted to make sure we did it right, and it wasn't just. Oh, Royce Herbert said we should do something for you. He said he contacted me and said we should do something. So I'm really pleased that we got a good whip round, and the whole point was that you can take Mrs. Poor Boy RC out and treat it to something nice because I'm assuming you've just been locked in your hobby room watching endless videos of people crashing RCs for 2 months.
well, that's how I woke up every day. I get up at 6, I go for a walk, make my coffee, sat down and watch speed runs till 8:30, start my day, and then midday usually watch a few more. I'm on the West Coast, so you guys are all in bed by the time it's like 3 o'clock my time, so it's pretty good for me that way. But start early, kind of twice a day, sit down for 2 to 4 hours a day, watch speed runs. Manage just because it's a lot to manage, right? It's like who has to go where and adjusting the score and making sure I don't screw up because I screw up a lot in life. And so, like, to make sure I don't screw this up, because people put a lot of time and money into
Oh,
this, and like, such to rewatch things. And then if I think maybe like there's a camera cut, like it's not quick. It's not just watching. If it's a 7 minute video, you don't watch a 7 minute video. It's like I have to rewatch portions of it. And did I see that motor? Someone forgot to show it, and it can be very time consuming, but that's cool. It's a lot of fun, and thank every one of you guys. Holy cow, man, that's nuts. I did not in a million years expect that, and thank you all from the bottom of my heart because that's really, really friggin' awesome. You guys kick so much ass, and I totally appreciate it. That's all I can say.
well, I
Thank you
think
all
it.
very much.
I honestly think, Philip, it sort of speaks to volumes to what you stand for in all this. The whole be excellent to each other, and everyone's in this to have a good time, and that's what this community is. It's just a bunch of guys and girls having a good time and wanting to share. And I think it's nice that they showed their appreciation. So well done, everyone. Good job. We got to it. Excellent.
Thanks, guys. You're the
So
best. Thank you.
a link from that to my speedrun car, which I spent an hour down in the studio trying to strip off jewels. If you remember, mine had all those jewels that my daughter stuck all over it, and about, I don't know, 12 layers of gold paint that I put on it, and I've sanded all that off.
I thought each one of those jewels added like 2 miles per
They
hour.
they,
Isn't that what we all concluded?
they did, yeah. They're a pain to get off though. We stuck them on with super glue, so they just it took me ages to get them all off. And I'm taking that grasshopper back to a grasshopper, and I'm going to use it to race next year in the Club 380 event that I attended a couple of weeks back. And
Oh,
so the
cool.
whole premise about this Club 380 is that you take a hopper or a DT chassis car or a wheelie like a CW01, and you slap a 380 motor into it, or a 540 if you're using the wheelie cars, and you just no transponders, 3 laps, you race. If you topple over, there's no marshals, no one tips you back over, you're out the race. And it was so much fun, Phil. I mean, I had so much fun. It's the first one, so I attended the 5th round. They'd done 4 rounds up to when I got there. It got bigger every single month that it went on. So there must have been 30 to 40 entrants racing cars around the track, and I had an absolute blast. I think the most fun I've had with an RC car since I was probably a kid. It was just brilliant. A group of
That's so cool.
like-minded guys all just having fun.
Yeah, I watched some of the video that you made. In fact, I watched that video, and that's the best kind of racing, if you ask me. Just hanging out, simple rules, not too serious, and man, that's so cool that you guys do that. It's really it seems like it's really popular, like Tamiya racing in the UK. You guys just seem to have a lot more events going, a lot more stuff happening. In Canada, there's absolutely nothing.
I think there is. I don't think there's as much as there. Well, no, sorry, that's wrong. I think there's more happening now than there was 10 years ago. But there certainly isn't as much happening as there was back in the 80s. But a lot of it is
Sure.
inspired by things that are going on in Japan and things that are happening elsewhere in the world. I think it's rubbing off, and I'd love to see that transfer over into North America as well, because actually there's nothing better than just getting a bog standard kit, keeping it simple, and just having some fun
Yeah,
without spending
yeah,
thousands of
that's
pounds
cool.
on parts and motors and batteries and everything else that goes with it.
So what were you running? Which chassis were you
So I
running?
did the CW01 in the wheelie class, and man, those things are so hard to get around a track. But so much fun. Like, just every time you squeeze the trigger, a big smile on your face. And everyone was
Yeah,
having a laugh, and people were trying to tip each other over if they rolled over, and everyone was crashing into
yeah.
each other. It was just so much fun. It was an absolute hoot. But getting around 3 laps without rolling your lunchbox over was almost impossible. And they were running against the other comical grasshoppers and stuff like that. They were in that class as well, all running around
Oh,
together, and
cool.
so that was great fun. That was brilliant. And then I ran a DTO2 in the buggy class, and there I was racing against other DTO2s, DTO3s, and then they had the Scorpion and the what's the other Kyosho that's based on the same platform, the one with the Beetle. So those were able to run as well.
The what is something Super Beetle, isn't
Yeah,
it? Or
you know
Kyosho
the one I'm talking
Turbo
about,
Beetle or
the
something.
yellow one, the yellow
Yeah,
Beetle. So that could
yeah.
run, but most guys were running Scorpions, not the Turbo Scorpions, just the regular Scorpions. And somehow I ended up in the A final, the final. That's the last race of the day. And these
Nice.
guys that I was running against were so much better. They were just incredible. And I thought I'd done all right to get that far. And there's me running my nickel metal hydride pack, and they've all got their lipos or shorty lipos in. I just couldn't keep up with them. They were just off and gone. And I was feeling the pressure. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to crash into these guys. They were, and then I hit this one guy. I like literally second corner, and he raced. He was good. And second corner, I flipped him over, and I felt so bad. I was like, oh no,
Oh no.
I just rammed into the side of him and flipped him, and then I felt really bad. So I was like going around nice and easy and gently, but I had such a laugh, and I came away and I was like, right, next year I'm getting a hopper, and I'm going to run in the hop. They have a hopper class for grasshoppers, hornets, the Rising Fighter, and the DTO1, and I want to get a model ready for that because they were so much fun. The hoppers, and part of this, Phil, is that you want to. It's all about the design of your body. So some of the guys put almost as much thought into how they designed their body and their paintwork and the decals and as they did about just what they were going to drive, because there's not many hop-ups you can do. So it's all about customizing the RC. And then these cars looked amazing. And there's me, I just rocked up with just a buggy that I had on the shelf and just started ripping it around the track. So I'm putting a lot of effort. I want to strip this grasshopper down, do a nice paint job on it, some new decals on it. I've got a Rising Fighter to do as well because it's a hard body. You can do some cool color schemes with that. I'm going to run a DTO4 because that's now available to run. So I'm going to do that up because again, hard panels, so you can do lots of different cool color schemes on it as well. And then I'm taking the lunchbox back out again. I'm going to do a couple of fun things with the lunchbox because it's a fun class. There was one guy that had a bubble machine on his lunchbox. It's just like spewing bubbles out the back of it as he's driving around the track.
What?
Yeah,
It's
so
crazy.
it's just everyone's having a laugh and having fun with it. So, but I met a bunch of guys who were a bit like us. They just want to have fun with RCs. They don't want to take it too seriously. They just want to have some fun. And there was a couple of guys who brought their kids along with them, trying to inspire the next generation to pick the hobby up. And these kids had such a blast. They were all big smiles on their
That's
faces. And
awesome.
yeah, it was everything it was meant. There was even a lady turned up. She saw there was something going on. She turned up in a car, got her two kids out, and they just stood and watched for like 2 hours, these cars ripping around the track. And now she's in the Facebook group.
That's
She's
so
like, "Oh, I
cool.
want to get my kids a car," and it's just brilliant how
That's how it starts.
and I don't think there's enough of that these days. When I was a kid,
I
there was a
agree.
track everywhere, and you could go and watch them all the time. And now there's nothing.
No, no. When I was a kid, there was well, geez, I'm dating myself here, but when I was a kid, on Sundays the malls were closed, stores were closed.
Yeah,
so, so what that meant was you would go to the mall parking lot. No one was going to show up there because nothing was ever open,
yeah,
and you'd set up a couple pylons and you'd oval race. And back in those days, I remember guys were racing those Kyosho 1/4 scale go
yeah.
karts with a little driver, and they were nitro. And the first time I saw that, I mean, my jaw hit the ground. My little 10-year-old boy jaw boom on the ground. I'm like, Dad, we're watching this. And we would just sit there for Sunday afternoons, I just watch guys race, Kyosho mini go-karts.
Yeah.
That was it. I'm hooked. Let's go. And here we are 35 years later, 37 years later, and not much has changed.
And that's what we used to do. We used to go up to the local community centre. They had a track up there, and we'd ride up on the bikes and sit and just watch the cars go around and watch the guys race. And it was so much fun. But they're just not as accessible these days. It's a shame, really. But this is really, kicking it on. So a big shout out to the guys at Club 380. They had so much positivity around it. They're doing a winter series indoors on a carpet track. And they've set up, so this is all happening sort of towards the middle of the UK. And they've set up a southern offshoot. So they've got a race meet going on next season, hopefully down south. So there'll be 2 Club 380 events in the UK, plus a winter season. So, it's getting some traction. It's really good. I'm going to try and get to at least one of the winter events. And then I'm planning to try and attend every single one next year because I had such a great time.
Nice. Oh, cool, man. That's awesome.
There you go. A bit of racing. So I've actually had I put my Orchard Raceway skills to the test, Phil.
Yeah, there you go. And so how did you turn out? Because you were in that A main. You flipped a guy. How'd you finish?
It's not worth
We don't want to talk about
I finished last in the A main. It was I shouldn't have been there in the first place. That's why I've relegated myself to the hoppers next year as punishment.
Yeah.
Neil, if you're watching, I apologise for my poor driving. But I hope I didn't wreck your Scorpion as well, because those things are like, what, 250 quid to buy a Scorpion? And I'm there in my...
They're not cheap, but they're tough. They're all metal. They're tough.
Yeah, mine cost me £30 on eBay, my DTO2s. So I was living up to the poor boy's name, you see, Phil. If I'm connected to you anyway, it's that I'm making sure I spend my money wisely.
That's it. We can all agree that at some point we've all been poor boys, and that's how you got to rock it some days. That's all good.
So, talking about poor boys, what's going on this month on the channel? What have you got coming up?
Buddy, I've got so much, I don't even know where the heck to start. I got helicopters to review again. I picked up an Arma Quake, which is exciting. Super late on getting that out, but again, my back exploded and said, you're not allowed to have any fun in August. So, so I got a brand new Arma Quake sitting here ready to go. I forgot to bring up my body, but I am working on something. I've let it be known on my channel, the Honda City Turbo. This is going to be my September raffle car.
Nice.
And this car, so the Honda City Turbo is white, and I didn't want to go straight white because there's so many angles and so many chunky, the big the fender flares and everything on it. So my wife took it to work and she painted it a white pearl Lexus color. It's my favorite Lexus color, and it's kind of got this like blue reflection on some angles, this blue pearl, kind of a pink pearl in certain angles. It's absolutely stunning, and it's supposed to be done by now, but it's not. But you guys are gonna freak out when you see it. I'm gonna get some nice photos of it in the sun, and as the camera turns around it, just every angle the colors are changing. It is so nice.
I'm gonna have a whole book of raffle tickets, buddy. I'm gonna. This one's mine. I got a good feeling.
Just give me a buy it now price so you can have it. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not trying to pump my channel, but I'm just excited about it. I've got this sound system thing here too, and I've got that in it. And this sound system's got like 100 different car sounds. And so you can pick one. And so I haven't gone through it yet, but I've got it all mounted up here on the chassis. This is kind of how I got everything working. I got the sound box up here. It's actually pretty big. And I'm going to hook this all up to a radio that I have, so you can turn on or off the sound box from the radio if you don't feel like having it. I'm going to hook up some lights to it as well, so you can hook up your lights or not have your lights. It's a really fun build. It's just taking me a lot longer than I expected. But I'm stoked for that, because that's going to be the raffle car. And I want to do like a running video with this one, and I want to like drive it in the city, but I want like this Honda City Turbo. Yeah. And with the sounds and the lights, it's going to attract attention. And so I'm kind of envisioning it like with an onboard camera driving through people's feet in a public space, and them kind of looking at them like their wacky reactions. But I want to be hidden. I don't want them to know that I'm driving it. I want to be like in my car or something, incognito. I think that'll be fun. That's kind of my idea for it. We'll see how it all turns out, but that's the big one. Plus a bunch of other stuff to review. Hopefully my Masami kit comes in. We can talk about that. We did have a raffle winner for this guy, my Monster Beetle. That's going to Pennsylvania. Mike L. Congrats, buddy. You won that one. it's a civic holiday today, so I couldn't ship it. So it's going to be going out tomorrow. And what else? Some other stuff I can't tell you about just yet.
Oh,
And
secrets.
some mini crawlers.
I like secrets.
Yeah, top secret.
Now,
What about you?
I want to go
What's
back
going
to
on
that
over there?
GT Power sound system you got there, because I have been looking at that module, because I talked a minute ago about the lunchbox, and I want to go to town on it. And I'm thinking soundbox in there as well. So I'm
Oh, right
gonna
on.
link GT Power. I'm gonna tag them into this, and if they're looking for people to review those boxes, I want one of those things, because I
Beautiful.
think it
Well,
would look.
they sent it over for me. They
think
sent
it
it to
would
me
look
to
so
review.
good, like in there with the sounds. You could do different. I was watching a review. It's got like different sound modules for different types of cars. So you can do like an F1 car and like a truck and I was quite impressed by it. There you go. There it is.
I don't know how much of that you can read, but you've got road grader, so like road cars, climbing car, SUV, and truck, and they've got literally like a sound like they've got standard one, standard two, but here they have like BMW M6 E64 Cabriolet. I mean, I've
Nice.
got one of those. Mine's not an M6, mind you, though, but that'd be kind of cool. But M6, that's a V10. But the one that I want to go with is right here. This call it R5 Turbo Rally 85.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know what that's going to be, but I think a turbo rally car sound coming
That could be
out
the
of
Renault 5.
well,
It could be the Renault 5 Turbo. The R5
the
Turbo.
Renault 5.
Renault
Yeah,
5 Turbo from the 80s. That was one of the Group B rally cars.
yeah,
That'll be good. That'll make that popping sound.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Lancer Evolution, Tom's Supra
Oh,
here,
nice.
Civic Si, Sierra Cosworth. Dude, they got so
Remember
many
those.
cool sounds. So many cool
So
sounds.
that's
So
what
I'm
I
really
want.
excited.
I want the sound box, and then I want a Killer Bodies exhaust system that sends out the smoke out the back of it. And I want to hook that up to the CW01, the lunchbox. So you've got the engine sounds, you've got the exhaust smoke coming out the back.
That'd be so cool.
I've already got some neon lights to go underneath it, so like some light strips to go underneath. So I'm just going to town. It's going to be ridiculously silly, but
will the exhaust come out the back, or are you gonna put like dual stacks on it or something and have like a stack exhaust? So that would be really, really cool.
That would be cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'm kind of geeking out right now. That'd be awesome.
I've got to work out. I've got to split the exhaust now. I've got to work out how to do all that. But yeah, I've got all these crazy ideas. So that's what's going on. I'm doing a lot of that at the minute. The Orchard Raceway series is coming back, so I've got that to put out. I've got all of that filmed. It's all ready to go. I've just got to edit.
Oh, you do? Good.
And it takes forever to edit those videos. So I changed the format because I had a couple of write-offs. So I've had to change the format a little bit for this season. We're just going a straight shootout to a league table of cars. Straight shootout. Every week we'll have a 2-wheel drive and a 4-wheel drive running, and we'll just see who wins at the end, because I had too many breakages this year and there's not enough.
I thought you lost your mojo there, man. You hadn't really mentioned it in a while, and I didn't want to post because I thought you lost your mojo after all the breakages.
You know, man, I was really upset with my madcap smashing that thing up.
I know you were.
Really,
I could tell you
really upset me because I put so many hours into building that car. And it just, I still haven't found
money
the
you spend collecting those parts.
I've just left it. I can't even look at it. I'm going to get to it. I will get back to it, but I need a bit of time. I need some time to reflect on what I did. So I've got that going on, and then I've got some good builds coming up. So I've got the Grasshopper that I'm tidying up. Right, I've got this TAO2 that I'm going to build this year because I want to do that. And then I've decided this year's the year I'm going to do my Kyosho Raider. And I've got the carbon chassis plate from it's like a nod to the Californian hot trick that they used to do on the hot shots. They did one for the Raider back in the day. And it's not exactly the same kit, but it's pretty close. And it's got a crank steering system that goes in as opposed to sort of the usual servo saver with the tie rods coming off of it. And then I've got some Kyosho Optima shocks to put on that, the gold ones coming from Japan. So this thing's going to be incredibly cool. And then I've got, in a nod to that person that said you should do a Hornet body with neon paintwork, I'm going to do I've got a Raider body shell from, it's Blue Groove, isn't it? Team Blue Groove out in Canada that does the repro bodies. I've got one of those. And then I've got some original Raider almost ready to run decals, which were neon green and neon pink from the 1980s. Original decals I'm going to put on, and I've got neon green original wheels from that model as well to go on it as well. So this thing's going to look.
That's a livery I've got on my
Is it
Raider,
really
the
got the
neon.
black with the neon? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So, that,
yeah. That's what I've got on
so
mine.
that's what I'm going with. But instead of going black, I think I'm going to go. I've got pearlescent white, the Tamiya pearlescent white that's going underneath it. So it's going to be a pearlescent white,
That'll be
and then
nice.
the neon on top of it. It's going to look absolutely beautiful. So that is happening this year. That's my build. That's my winter build. I'm going to spend ages on that thing.
That's awesome. That's going to look good. I'm looking at it kind of, I got mine up here in the corner. I'm envisioning the white, and those neon colors are going to pop like crazy with the white background.
I hope so. That's the plan. I just hope it all delivers exactly how it is in my head currently. But it's certainly going to be the most expensive Raider ever, I think.
Yep. We traded ours. Oh, I acquired mine by trading my wife's Axial Wraith that she had. It was highly modified. She bought it used uh, for a very good price about 10 years ago, and she hadn't driven it in 5 years. It was just a paperweight to her. And then I saw this Raider come up, and I said, the guy said he'd be willing to trade for a crawler. And I asked my wife, hey, do you mind if we get rid of your Wraith? She's like, yeah, I don't use that thing. Get rid of it. So yes, thank you. I love you. I'll take you out for dinner. Take her out for dinner, and bang, we got ourselves a Raider. And it's mint. It's never been driven. It's like doesn't have a scratch on it. It's like
absolutely beautiful.
So I don't want to drive it. I know it'll break. It just looks like it's ready to break sitting there on the wall.
Get yourself another one. There's nothing better than the sound of a Raider gearbox. It is, for me,
is that right?
Iconic RC sound. Yeah. It's like a lot of people say the Hornet and the chatter of the gearbox and the Hornet. The whine of the Raider gearbox to me just takes me instantly back to being 9 years old all over again.
Oh, that's
such
awesome.
a beautiful sound.
That's like the Midnight Pumpkin gearbox to me. You know, that CW01 gearbox just in a wheelie, in a wheelie, in a wheelie. You know, that's being 11 again.
And of course, the other thing that happened to me over the last couple of weeks, I've tried a LiPo battery for the first time in my life.
You lost your LiPo virginity.
I did.
Tell us all about it.
So it's an Ally HV battery. So it's the 7.6 volt that I tried. So that extra bit of punch. And oh my gosh, just incredible. So I was petrified about the whole charging situation. In fact, I gave you a call about it and said, look, what do I do with this? And Phil was very kind. He treated me with kid gloves and he explained how I do it. And I managed to balance charge it, and then I fully charged it. And then I took it out and I ripped that. I put it in my XV01 and I ripped that thing around on the asphalt for about 30 minutes. And the battery wasn't even down to 50%. It was just absolutely awesome. I loved every second of it. And that extra, and it only gave me, so I did some lap times and it was about 20% quicker around the lap. I did like an oval. It was about 20% quicker. But what was awesome, because that rally chassis has got the motor at the front and the way it's proportioned, because of that extra power, as I was coming out of the corner and punching it, it was just, the back end was coming out. It was drifting, four-wheel drift out the turns. And it was ace. I just couldn't stop running it. It was brilliant.
Crazy.
So that's it. I'm just absolutely sold now. So that what I don't like about it is the extra prep time that I've got to do at the start. I've got to do more prep time at the end. I can't just grab the battery, throw it in, and off I go. I've got this whole balanced charge thing I have to do that everyone knows about, right? Who's got LiPo batteries, they know. And that maintenance is what put me off originally. But I bought myself a battery safe, and I'm charging the battery safe now, and I've got a decent charger. And do you know what? It's worth it. It is absolutely worth it, because that extra performance, the extra runtime, the extra performance you get from it in terms of, I mean, that's why I couldn't keep up with those guys at that race meet, because I'm running a NIM pack. And we did the final was 3 races back to back to back. So you did 9 laps. And by the third one, I was dropping off already. I could feel the drop coming. But the LiPo batteries don't have any of that. They don't sag at all. They just go. So
no, they just work until they hit cut off, and then they just cut off.
So I'm converted, mate. I'm absolutely sold.
Yeah.
I think it's fantastic.
Well, good for you. I'm happy to hear that, because it is a game changer. And in my opinion, it makes the hobby just that much better. The cars are just, it's that little boost, like you said, that 20%. And, you know, and just to have that reliability, and it's always going to punch, it's always going to act the same. There's nothing worse than putting an impact on in a car that's on the racetrack and feeling that, like you said, third lap. I tried the same thing years ago when we raced MO5 minis, and I swore to myself I'm going to keep it stock, stock brushed motor, and I'm going to run an impact just to keep it fun and keep it, light, cheap, and cheery. And third lap, we'd run however many laps we did. I don't even know, 10 laps or something. And third lap, the guys are just starting to pass me like crazy.
Yeah.
And then the car's not as responsive. It doesn't punch out of the turn. And it's just like you have to change your driving style with your fading battery. and Lipo does away with all that.
Absolutely.
It just works the whole time. And they're awesome. Obviously, you've got a little more care to take with them because they're a little more volatile. But I think as technology has improved, they seem to be getting lighter, more powerful, and safer as the years go by, which is a huge benefit to us that are working out of our homes and are charging
Absolutely.
batteries in our homes and stuff like that. I've got dozens and dozens of batteries, and knock on wood, I haven't had any issues yet. And they start to swell or do something funny, I just get rid of them. That's that. I don't bother with risking them. And I think it's a good upgrade, man. Good for you.
Well,
I'm happy to see you did it.
Shout out to the guys and girls at Hobby King, because they provided me with a battery. It was the Turnigy battery. So thanks to them. Really enjoyed it. And I look forward to. I want to get a shorty next. I want a shorty one because that's going to give me that extra bit of weight advantage. See, now I'm already thinking about it. I'm always like, oh, if I have that, I get that extra couple of grams, and that'll make me a difference. And but maybe I don't need to worry about that. Certainly, when you're running a lunchbox, it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No.
So there we go. So we've reached it. End of a podcast, 1 hour and 6 minutes. Thank you very much for everybody tuning in and listening to us rabbit on. And for the first time ever, you got to see me. You've seen Phil many times before. But I hope it was all worth his reaction to that wonderful donation. And I will be passing that money on to you, Phil, as soon as we finished with a list of names of people that you can thank. And we all want to know what you do with your money. We want to see the proof of you out for dinner with the missus, and then the what was it, the poutine and the beer, and then
and the Molson,
the Molson, and then you sat there looking all smug with your brand new RC car.
I should do that too. $400. I can get a kit. I can get some beer. I can get a poutine. I think I might go that route.
There you go.
Whoever recommended that must be Canadian.
Either that, or they know about Canada. One of the two.
Or they know about Canada. Yeah, probably an American, actually. Probably an American making fun of us and our way of life up here. Which I don't blame you. We're like an easy target. We're like the easiest target to make fun of.
Well, dude, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. And thanks for everyone that listened and watched. And we will see you all next time on Talks Tamiya. Thanks ever so much, Phil.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun. And thank you, everybody, once again, for that donation. You guys, in a million years, I would not have expected that. And it's just so cool. Kind of makes you want to cry a little bit. You guys are the best. I can't believe it. I don't say. I'll definitely send you guys a thank you. And I'll have a poutine and a Molson on you guys.
I'm desperate to see what this poutine and Molson looks like. Yeah.
It's deadly, dude. It's so good. I'll find a good poutine joint, too. I'll find a good poutine joint. I'll see a proper poutine. It'll poutine for the en français.
Oh,
it'll en français poutine. And good stuff, buddy.
Good stuff, everyone. Cheers. See you soon. Bye for now.
Adios.